Sideshow presents Get Super with Joshy G. Featuring today's special guest, Carrlyn Bathe. It's time to get super.
Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome to another fabulous episode of Get Super with me, Joshy G. Happy Monday. And of course, I am joined by the one, the only Carrlyn Bathe, aka Carrlyn Hammer. Congratulations. You recently just got married. So now you got to change your name from Bathe to Hammer, which I think, no offense, sounds like an upgrade. Hammer, a great last name.
That's what sealed the deal, honestly. It was the last name. I was like, I need to nail it down, no pun intended, and get that last name. But no, it's quite a big change. And I'm still in this weird limbo of do I go by that? What do I do? So legally, yes. Personally, who knows? Here we go.
Either way, it's an incredible name, one way or the other. How are you doing? Are you enjoying this time kind of stuck in the house, being able to do a bunch of fun things, whether it be via Twitch or Zoom? Are you enjoying kind of this new normal, if you want to call it that?
I've made the best of it, is one way to put it. So I've found things to do. One of them being playing video games, like you mentioned. Twitch has been this huge kind of hobby turned passion, turned love, turned part-time gig that's just keeping me sane through this time. So it's been all about finding things to do to make this somewhat okay, but it still stinks. The grand scheme of things, yes, I'm a homebody and I love being at home. Small picture, I miss traveling. I want to go see my parents. They live in Maine. The little things like that where it's just crap, can't really do that right now, and it's kind of weighs on me. So Twitch is a great distraction, but overall we're doing pretty good. We've got some good company here at the house, so it's not so bad. How about yourself? You doing okay?
Very, very, the same. I get to talk to a bunch of people and hopefully get them to work out at home. Obviously I miss some of the same things you do, going and traveling, visiting family.
You traveled a lot too. I feel like you were always doing something cool, especially with wrestling in the WWE.
Yeah, which we'll get to in a little bit, but going to shows, I miss going to concerts and stuff like that. Yeah. And sporting events, which I'm sure if you guys are big sports fans, you may recognize Carrlyn. She is a sports broadcaster. Would that be the correct term, or journalist?
Yes.
But she's a sports broadcaster for the LA Kings as well as the Anaheim Angels, correct?
Yeah. Yes. I do a little bit of Angels, and then I do a lot of Kings.
Yeah. Well, me being a big hockey fan and me being a big Kings fan, I am a big fan of yours. And so, how did you enjoy the shortened season that was the NHL season?
Well, it was interesting because knowing the Kings weren't making the playoffs, we were expecting that end to a season not so far after March, right? So there was about less than a month left by the time the season had officially come to a halt. And I was already ready for that. What I wasn't ready for was everything that transpired after. So I remember in the final day, really, the last game that we had at Staples Center, it was weird. It was weird because no one could put their finger on the pulse and completely say what was happening, because as a country and a world, no one really knew yet how bad it was going to be, what was really to come. So at that moment in time, I was like, weird. Maybe we'll be back in a couple weeks and finish the season. Never did I imagine what would happened. And then never did I imagine that the NHL would pull off what they pulled off and award a Stanley Cup. And that was just this monumental effort that I still am so impressed by.
Yeah.
The fact that they did the two bubbles and then later on condensing down to that one bubble and finishing the season. As a sports fan, that's not even something you put in your backup plan book. There's no, hey, what happens when there's a worldwide pandemic? What do we do? I never even thought of that as a possibility. So.
And they definitely didn't have a playbook on, hey, this is what you do. It was kind of all on the fly. And I commend the NHL as well as the NBA.
It was impressive.
Being able to pull off and from what I understand, and I could be completely wrong, but I don't believe that there was a COVID case in the bubble, correct? There were zero positive.
I know there were cases going into it where people had to, quarantine or stay away from their teams and stuff before they would get to their respective training camps before they could then take off for the bubbles. I'm not 100% sure, but I believe you're right that there wasn't anything moving forward once they were inside of the bubble.
Now, obviously, a little bummed that the season was shortened. Obviously, we weren't able to go to any Kings games, which, I think the last Kings game I went to was literally almost a year ago in and around my birthday.
Yeah.
But I guess the silver lining in all of this is the NHL 21 was released, and you are a part of this, right? You are a part of this.
Physical copy. Yes, I am a part of that. I can't believe you got the physical copy. Heck yeah.
Well, first of all, before we get into your things, physical copies are the way to go. I had a talk with Xavier Woods, aka Austin Creed from Up, Up, Down, Down.
Yes.
And we are big physical copy people.
Why? Is there a specific reason?
I think it's fun to hold the case, to hold the disc. I don't really trade or play other people's games, but if I wanted to, I could.
Yeah.
I also don't like deleting stuff off of my hard drive because the chances of me re-downloading it to play a game are very slim to none. So I appreciate the people that love that. I'm not saying one is better than the other, but I'm a big physical copy person. But you are the first female broadcaster on this. Is that correct?
Yes, that is correct.
How did that come about, and how pumped are you?
I'm so pumped, honestly. It's one of those things where it was a dream I didn't know I had until it was kind of laid out in front of me, where if somebody asked you today, hey, do you want to be in a video game? The answer is probably yes, but like you don't grow up thinking like that's my one goal in life. I want to be in a video game. It just seems so unobtainable. And how do you even do that? How do you even know someone that like works on a video game? What? Like it just seemed so crazy unobtainable. And Hammer, right? He just knows everybody. There is somebody for everything in our life because of how many people he knows. So
and just for those that don't know, Mike Hammer is her husband, who is the co-owner of Violent Gentlemen Hockey Club, which is a hockey apparel line. And yes, Hammer knows everybody.
He really does. And so, of course, he knows someone who works on a video game. Rammer, we call him Rammer. His first name is Sean. And I have so much trouble pronouncing his last name, so he's going to kill me, but I think it's Ramjasingh. So hopefully I got that right, but we call him Rammer. And he's known Rammer for years and years and years. And Hammer is such a big fan of the game. So the two of them go way back. Hammer has been playing this game since I've known him, and probably long before that, and is an actual avid, crazy person fan about it. And when he was talking to Rammer, Rammer was looking for a female voice and asked, would this be something Carrlyn would be interested in? And I'm like, wait, yes. Hello. Yes, that would be amazing. And, the standard process had to happen where, they test my voice or see if they like it. And he's got to present me to the other people on his team. And I think what really sealed the deal is I mentioned to him that I had improv training, and I went to the Groundlings for 4 years and studied comedy and improv. And that was something that I didn't even know was really important to them, because a lot of their broadcasting recordings are on the fly. They have bullet points that kind of explain what they need to gather and what they're doing. But they rely on James and Ray to make it up and pretend, what's happening is happening inside of their heads and speak off that. So I think that helped a lot in my case. And it was an absolute dream come true. Like I said, that I didn't even know that I had. It's wild. And then when I heard myself for the first time, I was literally screaming. It was absolutely insane.
That's really cool to think, growing up, I don't know if many people know this, but your father was a hockey player.
Yes.
Philadelphia Flyers, correct?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
So you kind of grow up in this, this household that is just engulfed in hockey. And did that help you become a fan, or did you were you a fan of other things besides hockey growing up?
Honestly, hockey was so ingrained in our lives that I didn't really recognize that other sports existed. I had this conversation with someone the other day where I, played recreational soccer. I played, there's Hammer, by the way. Babe, say hi to Josh.
There he is. There's the world famous Hammer.
Oh, the dog's barking at literally our own dog doesn't recognize him. Get down! That's your dad! That is your dad! Now we've got everybody going.
It's okay. So growing up, hockey Yeah, it was
hockey
ingrained
was
in you.
ingrained in our lives, Josh, and like the way that I approached other sports was just like this isn't as cool as hockey, right?
Yeah.
Like why would I play soccer? Why would I play softball? Wanda, chill out. And it was always just a part of us in a way where I didn't even recognize how big. So going to school, kids thought it was cool that my dad had played in the NHL, and I just thought like, that's my dad. He's kind of a dork. Like, what do you mean that's cool? So little things like that where I really didn't notice, but I did at the same time. And then all four of my brothers, I've got four brothers, no sisters. All four of them played hockey. One of my brothers went to a fairly high level and he got signed by Nashville and he was signed by Arizona and played in their minor league systems. And then it just was always there. It was my security blanket. So I didn't have to learn to love it ever. I was just born into loving it, truly, like literally. And it's something that I can always count on. It's my go-to. Kind of like how I assume fitness is for you. It's like that security blanket of I know how to do this. I know everything about this. And it makes me so comfortable to know that that's just my world, you know?
Now, again, growing up, hockey ingrained in your culture. Your dad played, your brothers played.
Yeah.
Obviously, now you are a part of NHL 21. But there's a lot of other things that you enjoy that maybe not a lot of people know about, including the Sideshow audience, right? They see me talking about wrestling all the time, and maybe not all the fans are big wrestling fans, and they see me talking about sports, and maybe not everybody here at Sideshow is a big sports fan, but you are a big nerd, if you will. And there's nothing wrong with saying you're a nerd because I'm a huge nerd. I love everything sub pop culture. What are some of the things that you love, Carrlyn?
So I do love wrestling. And Josh, it's so weird because I feel like wrestling, how hockey is for me, how I was kind of, young and loving hockey and I was born into it and it was just my hobby, my passion, whatever. I feel like wrestling is something people get into primarily when they're younger and something that they can reminisce about and they remember growing up and watching. And wrestling for me, I got into in my late 20s.
Really?
I had no idea how cool this world was. And I just fell completely head over heels in love with it. And I knew what it was. My brothers are insane, like massive, huge wrestling fans since early 90s and beyond. And I remember, them buying every pay-per-view and just totally obsessing over it. And then I finally got it when I was like 26 and was just like, oh wait, this is awesome. So I started going to shows whenever they were in town, whatever WWE event came through. And then I got into PWG back when it was in Reseda. And I remember I just went one night by myself and I had no idea what to expect, what was going on. And it's truly, for people who don't know, that was a smaller indie promotion at the time. And it is this weird, like small room that is so sweaty and everybody's tightly packed together and everyone knows all the chants and you have no idea what they are, but you feel like you're a part of it and everyone's so welcoming and you're all in it together as well as the wrestlers. And it was just this crazy experience. So that was like step one into loving indie wrestling. Shout out to Hagoop, which was like the only person I talked to at that show. And I remember were there
I know a lot of my friends came from PWG, Cesaro, Kevin Owens. Were there?
That's who I saw. Yeah, I saw
Roddy.
I've seen Roddy. I saw Kevin Owens, Kevin Steen at the time. Yeah. I believe I saw Kevin Steen's last PWG match, I want to say, when they threw the streamers and everything. And
El Generico, aka Sami Zayn.
Yep. I never got to see Sami Zayn. I got to see Cody Rhodes when he came back into PWG after leaving the WWE. That was crazy. There's some photos of me that I should show you that are hilarious because I'm like totally losing my mind. Like, oh my God, this is happening. What the heck? Candice LeRae, saw her, blood all over her face. That was my first match that I went to. So the iconic photo with her blood all over her face, wearing her like white outfit with the rainbows on it. That was my very first PWG match. And I was like, how is this real life? How? Yeah. This is insane, Josh. Insane.
So wrestling, what else besides, what are some of your other fandoms that you love besides pro wrestling?
Wrestling is huge. And then I've gotten into Call of Duty big time. So Call of Duty's been like my other security blanket,
Okay.
especially during quarantine. And it is so strange because another thing that I got into later in life would be video games. And this is something I got into extremely recently, but I felt like I've always been so busy with work or so consumed with, life that I never sat down and enjoyed the things that I feel like, again, most people get into when they're younger. So we literally started playing Call of Duty. And I mean, by my husband and I, and he has a group of friends that he plays with and I join in with, and it like keeps us connected. And then I'll also play with my nephew who like lives all the way in Maine and I never get to see. And that keeps us connected. And I'm obsessed with it. I'm obsessed with Call of Duty. I've been watching a lot of like Netflix shows, trying to get into Cobra Kai, which was awesome. I don't know if you've seen that. That's another huge, like, holy smokes, glad I found that. And then Ted Lasso, that's another big I wouldn't even call it a fandom, but it's my new favorite TV show. Have you seen Ted Lasso yet?
I have not, but I've heard nothing but great things.
Oh my God. Dude, it is Jason Sudeikis in his most lovable role yet. And I don't even want to ruin it, but basically an American football coach goes overseas to then coach soccer.
European football.
Soccer, and
yeah.
It was phenomenal, start to finish, easily digestible too. Really short episodes, like 30 minutes or so. And it was phenomenal. We also, I'm like listing things off here that I love now. What else do I love? I love Funko toys. We have a huge collection. I think it was Alan, one of your producers, talking about, I think it was a son or someone trying to sell a Funko toy online, which got me thinking like, maybe I could go through a couple of those while I've got the time. See,
are there anything else that you collect outside of Funko? Like I know we've had like Nick Bayside on. He talks about how he, Nick from Bayside.
Nick Bayside. That's what we call him.
Yeah.
He's got the Star Wars collectibles.
Huge Star Wars collectibles person. But I mean, are there things like, for example, like, I love obviously like Masters of the Universe, and there are just things that I have to collect. Are there things outside of the world of, let's say, wrestling or Call of Duty? Are you a big fan of like Marvel, DC, Star Wars?
I do love Marvel. I wouldn't say I'm like this huge Marvel nerd where I have to have everything Marvel. We like.
But you've obviously been to a Comic-Con or some sort of Comic-Con or convention. When you walk by these booths, is there something where you look at it and you're just like, oh my God, that's so impressive. I wish I could have that. Or is there a piece of something that you've seen over the past, or you're just like, man, that is such a cool. Because the way I look at things, like, again, like this child that I got to say Sideshow life-size child.
Oh my God.
If you look at it, just the details in this bad boy is so great. It's not just like a piece of plastic. I mean, they literally spare no expense to make this thing look realistic. Is there something that you've seen that you're like, man, I am just such a fan of that, whether it be the Infinity Gauntlet or whatever the case may be?
Oh gosh, it's not even super specific, but I really like vintage items, especially in the pop culture and sports world. So mini pennants are something that if I see a mini pennant, that's my kryptonite. Like I will, I have to seek it out. I have to see what it's all about. I have to see if I want to buy it or a pin. I feel like pins, collectible pins. If I find a good pin that's tied to maybe a good pun as well, like I've got to have it. And there's this one, I think it's from Yesterday's. They had a really cool Too Sweet pin that I was trying to do. I'm like this. They had a really cool Too Sweet wrestling pin that I love. And it's just the hands, up like this. It says Too Sweet across it. And it's like, if you know, you know.
Yeah.
And little things like that where it doesn't scream, hey, I've, love Star Wars. Check out my Baby Yoda, which is freaking awesome. Yeah, I also need to know where you got that. Where is that from?
This is a Sideshow, and it's not Baby Yoda. It's the child.
The child, right? The child.
But yes, you can find this at sideshow or sideshow.com if you are interested in purchasing the child.
That is incredible. He kisses the child, puts it away. I mean, that's phenomenal. The child took over social media when The Mandalorian came out. Like that That was a
I think
phenomenon all in
I think
itself.
the child is still taking over social media.
Oh, for sure.
That's how impressive his or her debut was.
Yes,
You know?
absolutely.
But
Yeah,
yes, I love a good pen. In fact, you should see the pin collection, excuse me, that I have.
you got a big one, big pin collection?
I have 2 cases
Okay.
that have pins in them, and then I have a bag of pins that I just refuse to buy another pin case because I'm like, well, this is just too crazy. But yes, I'm with you. When I see a good pen that has a very subtle reference to something that only maybe I or a couple of people know, and like you said, if you know, you know. And that's when you get like the random compliments, like, "Oh, I know that Stephen King's Rules pen. That's from Monster Squad." You know what I mean? Like then you're like, "Oh, I feel like I'm the cool kid in the club."
There's this one that I really, really love too. Now that we're talking about it, I thought of it. It's a boba tea, but it's got Boba Fett colors, so it's like a play on words. And like you said, you know, it's just it's pretty freaking cool. I think that's also from yesterday's.
Yeah, well, yesterday's getting all the love from Carrlyn today.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, you know, we've talked about this earlier. You know, before we got online, fitness obviously must take some sort of precedent in your everyday life. How are you able to, when you are busy and when there is no worldwide pandemic and you are traveling with the Kings and you are, you know, streaming through, you know, for Twitch and, you know, you have a life in the sense that, you know, you and your husband are busy and trying to spend time. How do you manage fitness into that schedule?
So I think it's important for me to be real here because I would love to say, you know, I work out like Josh and I work as hard as the Dead Boys Fitness. Like I just crush every day. I wish I could get to that level. Y'all kill it and you're extremely inspiring, especially with your social media and all the content you all put out. It's extremely inspiring. And I come from this, you know, I don't even want to say injured world and have anyone, you know, feel bad for me, but I have a herniated disc and a bulging disc, and I'm sure you're familiar with injuries. It's so hard to find ways to move that don't leave me feeling like a pile of bricks or mashed potatoes gone wrong after. Yeah. So hockey, skating with friends, and when there wasn't a pandemic, we would play pickup games together, and those are some of the best workouts I think I ever got, and we're just messing around on the ice. You know, nothing's too serious, and full hour of skating, you're drenched in sweat, your whole core is toast. Like that, for some reason, I'd take the next day backache and do. It was so much fun. So that was one way to stay in shape for sure. And then because I am so sore all the time, just moving in general is a huge plus for me. So on the road, especially, I'd like to do what Hammer refers to as the mall crawl. And, you know, as long as I'm moving and walking, you know, I might not be doing squats or lifting big weights or anything, but movement to me is really important. Just getting out there, getting your legs moving and not being, you know, stale and stagnant and sitting in a hotel all day. So that's super important. And finding ways to find adventure too, especially when we were on the road. Daryl Evans, one of the broadcasters also for the Kings, he was my adventure partner. So I feel like we were always up to something or finding something to do or trying to get our steps in. So steps are important. And the goal, if I might even switch the question a little bit and answer with the goal for me for fitness is to have it be integrated in my life like it's a part-time job. I know how important it is. My mom, it's so important to her. She's one of those 5 a.m. wake up, go to the gym. She's squatting like crazy. She's 66 and she's more fit than the two of us, I bet. So
I'm sure.
It's crazy, but she's an actual inspiration, and she's, you know, someone, everybody needs someone to hold them accountable. And she's definitely that person to me. And
but I think you kind of hit it on the head in the sense that, like, look, I mean, that's the one big thing that we promote at Dead Boys Fitness, both Colby and myself, aka Seth Rollins, is that we really just want people to move, and that's why we started that program. It's not necessarily we want you to lift the big heavy weights or the squat the big heavy weights or to run the 6,000 miles or whatever the case may be. We wanted people. And in this case, when we first started it, it was about wrestling fans, but now it has become more than just wrestling. more than
you've
just wrestling
transcended
fans.
wrestling now.
But I think the big thing, and like I said, you said it, is that it's just the small, subtle things that can make a huge difference. 10,000 steps a day, believe it or not, is huge for a lot of people that don't really do anything. You know, if you're able to do 10,000 steps a day, go and put on one of your favorite podcasts, go for a nice hour and a half walk, and that is going to help you way more than just sitting on the couch and doing nothing. And am I going to sit here and say, playing video games all day is the worst thing for you? Absolutely not.
Yeah.
Someone like Carrlyn, or people all over the world, that's what they like to do, and that's totally fine. But being able to maintain some form of fitness while they're doing so is a huge message that I like to get across. I know a lot of people kind of look down at, at fitness, and they say, like, I don't want to go to the gym because I don't want to be bulky, or I don't want to go to the gym because it's really intimidating.
Yep.
And I totally get that, and I understand. But I think the big message that you're saying that I also want to reiterate is that doing something is just better than doing nothing. Yeah.
And don't compare, for anyone listening to, don't compare yourself to the people that have been doing this a long time, or are doing the crazy squats and lifting all the weights and running all the miles. Don't compare yourself to them, because that will only stop you from even making those small improvements and small adjustments in your own life. That'd be like if I looked at, Anze Kopitar and thought, gosh, I should never play hockey because I'll never be as good as him. That's not true. I should play hockey because I love it and I'm mildly okay at it and I have fun doing it. That should be how people approach fitness too, where you can't just look at social media and get completely scared or completely bogged down with, oh gosh, I'll never be that. As long as you're moving, that's all that matters. Like we're saying.
Yeah, so like Kopitar would never say, "Hey, please don't play hockey because you're never going to be as good as me," or Beth is never going to tell somebody, "Hey, don't back squat or lift heavy weights or do any kind of functional fitness because you're never going to be as strong or as fast as me." I think it's real important that these people like yourself, like myself, like Rollins, with a platform that are able to tell people, and inspire them in a way. Like I wish when I was younger, Shawn Michaels or Macho Man Randy Savage was like, "Hey, I'm doing this workout and I would love for you to do it with me."
Yeah.
That's partially why Dead Boys was created. But now, like I said before, it's become so much more than just, hey, work out with wrestlers. It's become a small, tight-knit community. And I think that there are a lot of communities like that. Like Twitch has a humongous community. I know Sideshow has this really fun Facebook group called Let Your Geek Sideshow. And that is just a fun community where, especially now, people are not able to go out and see all their friends. So whether it be the Dead Boys family or their Twitch family or their, Facebook group family, they're there to kind of motivate them and help keep people on track. And I think that's kind of a fun way of looking at things is these people are there for you. They have your back and they're there to help kind of keep you hold you accountable, which is great.
Yes. Especially like, I think we were talking about social media can be a negative place sometimes. And it's important now more than ever to really preach that positivity. It's a mess on there sometimes, and it's to have these places where people can still go, especially since we can't physically go everywhere like we want to anymore. It's important now more than ever. And I'm encouraging people to find that community and that support system and just hold on to it. That's what we're all doing. That's really what we're all doing.
Are there any things in the future that you're excited or looking forward to? Obviously, a world post-COVID, I'm sure we're all looking forward to. But are there any fun things that you're looking for? Any fun projects that you are hoping that will come across your way?
Well, I'm really looking forward to seeing where this Twitch journey goes. It's been one of the most fun endeavors that I've ever really dipped a toe in. It's unbelievable. I love how like the wild west it is. Like you can do anything on there. The possibilities are endless, and the fact that you can create a community like we were just referencing, you can do that on Twitch as well. I'm just excited to see where that goes. I'm hoping I'll probably be in some competitions, or I don't have anything on the horizon yet, but I did just compete in a Fall Guys competition and lose, and it was the most fun I ever had. So stuff like that. Yeah, stuff like that. Maybe on the horizon. I hope maybe to be in NHL 22. That would be awesome. That would be something, I'm just kind of putting my wish list out there now. And
Well, I'm sure the reviews of NHL 21 are through the roof. So if those stay the way they are,
yeah.
I'm
Let
almost
them
guessing you'll
know.
probably be in it.
Let them
Yeah,
know. Traveling
ex-
though, I think traveling that's something I'm looking forward to again when it's really truly safe. I know some people are traveling right now, and I'm just still a little on the fence about it. But
Are
really,
you a big Disney fan living, anywhere near close to Disneyland,
absolutely.
right? Are
So
you a
we're pass
big
holders,
Disneyland fan?
and yeah, like the fact that we cannot go to Disneyland is probably the biggest kick in the gut. Like that is just
Yeah.
that's tragic. Absolutely tragic. The magic is
Yeah.
gone. So that's how mad I am about Disneyland.
What would you say is your favorite ride at Disneyland?
I really like Space Mountain. I'm a big roller coaster person, so that's kind of the closest thing to crazy roller coasters. Or Scream in California would be, the next closest thing. Six Flags when that's open. Oh my gosh, I'll go on every ride that's there. But I really like soaring over. It was soaring over California, but now I think it's just soaring in general. And then you're soaring over the world, and you go to different worldly places now. That is super relaxing. That's like after you've had dinner. Hopefully you don't get motion sickness. I don't, but you're chilling. You just finished your ice cream. You're ready to chill. Like you don't want to sit on the bench because you're done people watching because you just had dinner and you're staring at everybody while you're on the patio. That's the ride to go to just totally relax and let your food digest and just have a nice visual of the universe. That's probably one of my favorite.
It is
cool down rides.
It is sad living so close to a place that, growing up, I went to all the time. Even though I lived in Las Vegas, I would still go there all the time. And now physically being in California, for as long as I have been, being a pass holder for the past couple of years and now not being able to go at all, it just seems like, like I'm living in the Twilight Zone. Like, how can I not go? But at the same time too, is like, I'm glad to a certain extent that I'm not able to go because it just seems like not the right thing to do, at least at this particular time until they can open up safely. But yes, it is sorely missed, at least.
What else we lost too is we lost this aspect to our entertaining our visitors. I don't know if this was the same way for you, but anytime anyone came to California to visit, that was like the number one go-to thing because it was easy. It was like, yeah, we can hang out at the house and like have a barbecue if you want, or we can go to Disneyland for the day. Like it was that easy card that you just pull out of your hat or wallet. And you're like, here we go. Let's just go do something fun.
It at least has made me more creative in the sense that like, oh, I got to find things that maybe I haven't done before. So looking up like
we don't have our crutch anymore.
Location.
Yeah,
exactly. Like looking up filming locations or really trying to find some like fun urban exploring to do because now, you're right. It's not as easy. Like, hey, let's just go to Disneyland. Let's go to downtown Disney, or let's go to Six Flags, or let's go to Universal. Now it's just like, oh, I got to really get creative.
I know. Speaking of filming locations, we went to for my birthday. It was April 30th. So it's like, prime, like everything is closed. Don't go anywhere. Yeah. We went to Hammer and I drove up to where The Office is filmed. And
nice.
Like Mexican food spot that I really love called Salsa and Beer in I think it's like Van Nuys area. We got takeout food and then went to go visit The Office like building location and just took photos from the car. That was great. Our big filming location adventure.
Yeah, that's great. My family and my girlfriend, we went to, I think it's Carroll Street, where they have these old Victorian houses here in Los Angeles. And it was like the Charmed House and the Thriller House. Yes. Yeah.
Hammer's friend used to live there.
Really? See, he does know everybody.
Oh, he really does. I know the girl lives in the Charmed House. Like that's how like next level he knows everybody. That was nuts.
So you're saying I should have interviewed Hammer instead?
Yes. He's way more interesting than me. You picked the wrong Hammer here.
No, stop it. Well, I know you're not able to work out, which is okay. But when you do, I expect you to do this workout that we'll be demonstrating a little bit later. But before I let you go, and I'm very excited because you seem to be a fan of pro wrestling. Obviously, I am. Yes. I ask this question of every single guest on the show, and I'm going to ask you, if you were to book your main event at WrestleMania, but it has to be pop culture related in the sense that it could be literally anything. If you wanted to be, a tag match between Betty and Veronica versus Daphne and Velma, you could do that. If you wanted the Child versus Baby Groot, you could technically do that. It's your main event of pop culture WrestleMania. what is your main event and why? And most importantly, who goes over or who wins?
Oh gosh. I wish I got this as a homework assignment so I could have thought about it and given you like the best answer ever. Oh, let me rack my brain. Okay. I feel like since we're oh gosh, Josh, this is crazy. Oh my gosh.
And it could be wrestlers. You could book your own if you want your favorite wrestlers. You could do that too.
I feel like I would want to see like Sting.
Okay.
I gotta go wrestling.
So for those of you that don't know, Sting is a wrestler, not Sting the musician, but Sting
yes, not Sting the musician. Great clarification. I would want to go somebody epic and old school like Sting versus somebody like, I don't know, somebody wild but still not new by any means, but like Shinsuke Nakamura. You know what I mean? Somebody so outlandish and different. Both two completely different styles, completely different personas, and just wildly entertaining in their own way. Sting and Shinsuke would just be so interesting. I'd love to see Shinsuke kind of play with Sting's character and get
which really Sting are you referring to? Is it like beach guy Sting with the face paint and like the bleach blonde hair, or is it the Crow Sting?
Crow Sting for sure. Sting for sure. I got a little Funko toy Crow Sting, that like specific, long black coat, like that Sting. And Shinsuke, full red leather outfit. Just totally, doing his thing.
Who's winning? Who's going over?
I feel like Shinsuke goes over.
Nice.
I feel like, like it's the passing of the torch that never happened,
Now, when you got into wrestling, I'm not trying to date you, but was WCW around? If so, were you a big WCW fan or were you more of a WWE fan?
So because I got into it so late, I definitely just was WWE, not even like WWF. Like I came so much later that I had to learn about, Sting and for wrestlers like that who when Sting came back, it was like, wow, I see why this is a big deal to people, but it was definitely WWE and like I said, some of the indie promotions, because I was just so old and I missed the boat. So having something like the WWE network and kind of catching up on things, and everybody knows the big names. Like I know who Macho Man Randy Savage is. Like I understand that era. I'm not, they're celebrities. They were household names before social media even existed. So of course, and those are ingrained in your brain, but it wasn't later on where I was like watching matches and being like, oh yeah. Okay. I get the hype.
Okay. And then just real quick, because I don't even think I asked you, who is your favorite, or give me your top 3 performers or top 5 performers, male or female.
All right. One of them, very well. Love Becky Lynch. Truly love Becky Lynch. Love Shinsuke Nakamura. And then I really loved Dean Ambrose when Dean Ambrose was Dean Ambrose. Big fan.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Solid group of people there.
Those are, and they kind of shows you where I started loving wrestling. That if anything dates me, it's that. It's like dates me to the last like 6 to 7 years of wrestling.
Well, again, Becky Lynch, Ambrose, Shinsuke, all solid people, both in and out of the ring. So you picked 3 quality people.
Yes, thank you. Knew you'd approve.
Well, Carrlyn, this has been so much fun. I'm sorry that you weren't able to do the workout with us, but I appreciate you taking the time out of your busy schedule to talk with us. Outside of NHL 21, where else can people find you?
Well, you're my PR guy right here. Honestly, I love that. NHL 21 brings it into the frame here. People can find me on Twitter, Carrlyn Bathe. Same thing on Instagram. I don't use Facebook really. I have one. Please don't add me. I really don't like Facebook. I'm trying to get rid of it. And then Twitch. It's just my first name. It's Carrlyn, Carrlyn. You can search it on Twitch, and I should be the only one on there. And that's where I spend most of my days now. 3 days a week. All
awesome.
on Twitch. Yeah. Are you going to do the workout? Is that what people are going to tune into next?
Yes. So along with my trusty sidekick, aka my girlfriend Jennifer, we will demonstrate the workout for people, and they can do it at home. So
love it. Love it.
Jennifer will be doing it for you, so I'm sure she's very excited about that.
She's going to do it much better than I could. So props to Jennifer. Thank you so much.
Well, hold on one second, guys. I'm going to go get ready. Thank you again, Carrlyn. I appreciate it, and we'll be back in a minute. Sideshow Collectibles family, what up? Joshy G here with Jen Houston, and today we have a fun workout that focuses on core strength. All right, 5 rounds. That's right, 5 rounds, 3 different movements, 20 seconds on, 10 seconds off. You got some built-in rest in there. We're going to start things off with some mountain climbers, then we're going to move to Russian twists, and then we're going to end with plank. You're going to do that whole cycle 5 times. Jen is going to demo. I will commentate. Here we go. 3, 2, 1, let's go. All right, the first movement in this workout is the mountain climber. You're gonna get to the top of your push-up, and you're gonna bring those knees as high as you can, and you're gonna alternate. Now you're gonna do this for as long as you can, or 20 seconds. Remember, when that 20-second marker hits, you get 10 seconds of rest. Notice that Jen is getting her knees up as high as she can. She's bringing them to her elbows. Good job, Jen. Next up is the Russian twist. So you're going to sit on your butt. You're going to engage your core. If you want to add a level of difficulty, you can take your feet off of the ground, and you're just going to touch each side, right? Just like Jen is doing. Left and right equals 1 rep. Now we're looking for as many reps as possible, but again, I want you to move for 20 seconds because you get that 10 seconds built-in rest. All right, and finally, you are going to hold a plank for 20 seconds. Now there's 2 ways you can do it. 1, you can do it from the top of your push-up, or if you want to add a level of difficulty, you can lower yourself down to your forearms, just like that. Again, making sure that your hips are in line with your shoulders. We don't want your butt to come up, all right? Squeeze your butt, squeeze your stomach, hold that bad boy for 20 seconds. So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. A good midline workout, focusing on core strength. We got mountain climbers, we have Russian twists, we have a plank. You can do it in your living room, you can do it in your bedroom, you can do it in the backyard if it's warm enough. You do it in the garage, again, if it's warm enough. Any comments?
I'm out of breath.
Out of breath. She's out of breath, so make sure you breathe, right? A lot of people hold their breath through that. Make sure you breathe. 20 seconds of holding your breath for 5 rounds, for 3 movements. That could be a lot. Anyway, good job. See you guys very soon. Good job, Jen. Thank you for being my demo, and we'll see you very shortly.
Hey, did you like that video? Be sure to subscribe by clicking the S icon on your screen and click that bell icon to be notified whenever a new video is posted. If you'd like more info on the items featured in this video, click the link provided under Product Info. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to let your geek side show.